Well, it's already week 10 of the high school football season, and that means that it's time for another preview review here on WHBCSports.com. And the man sipping coffee to my right is, of course, Joe Palmisano, the color voice of our Shearer Snacks radio game of the week. And Joe, it's flown by. We talk about it every year, but we're already into week 10. We're talking rivalry weeks. It almost seems like the season hasn't even happened yet, and here we are. We're going to be talking playoffs next week.
I know. But before that, I do want to say, John, you've done an amazing job this year, putting together the behind the player segments and all the things that you've done to make this football season really a strong one for WHBC.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. I mean that.
Thank you for that. That means a lot. So, as I mentioned, 9 weeks in, you last week were at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. Mm-hmm. You saw McKinley and Perry, and I think a lot of people were surprised by the scoreboard, but you might have been one of the ones that wasn't surprised.
I wasn't surprised at all. You know, when I look at Perry, John, they absorb their coach's personality better than I think any team. Always. They just, you know, I know Keith doesn't think they're tough. He never thinks the kids are tough enough, but they're tough kids, and they play, they're blue-collar kids. And, you know, every game they're going to pound you, get 2, 3, 4 yards, and all of a sudden break one for 50. Oh, then pound you again and break one for 40. You know, that's just the kind of team they are, and they play great, you know, they play great defense. I was wondering how they were going to contain McKinley with all the weapons that McKinley has. And McKinley made some mistakes, but let's give Perry credit in defending them and really keeping the big plays to a minimum and keeping themselves in the game and then controlling the clock on offense. But Perry does this all the time, and I don't think there's a better coach that conveys his whole personality into his players like Keith Wakefield. So it's amazing.
Well, nobody else in the county and not many teams in the area even run the wing tee, so it's like you go 8 weeks seeing spread, and then you have to worry about the buck and this and that, and you know, things that you and I have talked about before. But it's a different change of pace.
Well, we ran that offense when I was coaching at Malone, and it was hard to stop. I mean, Dan DeGeorge was a 1,000-yard rusher from his freshman year to his senior year. We had other guys that were running the football. We had a great quarterback that ran the wing tee well. We were able to do things differently on third and long yardage where we spread it out to 4 wides and stuff. But for the majority of the time, we were running the wing tee, and we were obviously successful doing it. I think it's a great offense. Keith calls it a dinosaur, but I don't think it's a dinosaur. I think it needs to come back around again and be used.
He told me a couple weeks ago, we were talking about OAC football, and he said that he wants to go beat the coach at his alma mater, which is Otterbein, and he said, I'll run the wing tee in the OAC, and he said everyone will crap their pants because they'll have no idea what's going on. So as I mentioned, we're into week 10, and 2 matchups that you'll be a part of this weekend, one being Central and Louisville on Friday, and we'll start there. 2 teams that playoff aspirations kind of went out the door earlier in the season, but still 2 good coach football teams, and a lot to look forward to here because this matchup hasn't happened in a while.
No, it's a good matchup, and it's a good game that I think is going to be very competitive, and 2 really outstanding legacy programs that I think will do a good job, and I think it's going to be a good football game. It's going to be a hard-hitting game. It's going to be balls, you know, going everywhere and things, and you know, wide open type game, and it'll be a good game to watch.
So that takes us to Saturday at 2 p.m. at Paul Brown Tiger Stadium in Massillon.
Well, let's not forget Hoover and Jackson.
Oh, that's right. Well, TV game.
That's a big game.
It is. And
that's a great game.
And the WHBCSports.com stream game will be at Alliance.
Right.
The battle for the EVC.
That's going to be a great game.
So
I think it'll be good.
Friday has jam-packed games. Again, you can catch Central Louisville on the radio with Dan, Joe, Kenny, and Kenny. It's easy to remember because it's Denny and Kenny.
I know.
And then TV, Dave Sheets, Mark Miller, and Frank Salona, as well as Bob Jeffries. They'll be at Jackson on Friday as the Polar Bears will play host to the Hoover Vikings. And then myself and a guest color analyst this week in Charles Babb, former Alliance quarterback, will be on the call out at Mount Union Stadium. But that takes us to Saturday, as I mentioned. This game, this Massillon team, I saw them last week. It's the best Massillon team I can remember in my lifetime. Just from top to bottom, they're so complete. And McKinley's a good football team, but it's going to take everything McKinley has.
Well, they can't. They have to be disciplined. They're going to have to play a perfect game. They can't give up. As far as Massillon's going to pound you. Let's face it. I mean, they can throw, and they've got receivers on the outside, and they've got an outstanding quarterback in Aiden Longwell. But ultimately, they're going to beat you in the trenches. Physically, on offense, they're going to run the football. That's going to be their bread and butter. And defensively, they're going to stop the run. They'll do a good job in those areas. And McKinley, neither team can afford, in a game like this, neither team can afford turnovers, short fields, special team errors. They've got to play pretty clean in this football game to win this game. So it's going to come down to who plays the cleanest, who eliminates the penalties, and who just kind of controls the field position game. It's going to be very important.
So close to being 9-0 against 9-0. 3 points separate that, as Perry was the one who stopped that last week for McKinley. It was almost the first time since 2005, but should be a great game. It always is. So things will kick off early Saturday morning, of course, at the Irish Pub and Grill. The week that was becomes the day that it is. Yeah.
Yeah, every year it becomes a day that is. So we're going to be broadcasting from there. Every year we do it at the home field restaurant, somebody that in the home area. So this year it's Massillon, and we're going to be doing it at Irish Pub. We'll start, Pub and Grill will start at 8 o'clock in the morning. We'll go to 11. Then at 12 o'clock is the stadium show, All-Care Stadium show from Paul Brown Tiger Stadium with Kenny and Haas. And then 2 o'clock is kickoff.
129th battle of the Bulldogs and the Tigers. Paul Brown Tiger Stadium in Massillon. He's Joe Palmisano. I thank him and everyone here at Captive Radiology for allowing us to use their conference room for the preview review this week. It's already week 10. Enjoy the week, and we'll catch you next time.